And I just wanted to talk about something today. It kind of came up when I was driving home from the gym and I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about value. And I was just kind of like, whoa, people don't realize the value within themselves, the value of you as an individual. So I just wanted to talk about that because I think that is so important when you're trying to really connect with your purpose. And I know this is like a big part of why people have such a hard time with connecting with their purpose. Hey, Inez. And I think it's a big part of it is that you don't know yourself. You're not understanding what it is that you really want, and you're not really feeling into your true essence, the true essence of you. And then I started thinking about, so here comes like the crazy Ashley metaphors, because I'm just a crazy bitch and I was not normal growing up at all. I'm still a fucking pro wrestling fan. I haven't watched it in a while, but that's what happens when you're a pro wrestling fan. You kind of like watch it and then you get sick of it and then you're like, okay, I'll start watching it again. But anyways, I was a huge wrestling fan growing up. And this is how I was like putting it together. And the crazy shit too is like you always get the best stuff while you're driving. And I'm like, oh my God, I gotta write this down. So like I journaled it as soon as I got home, but I'm like driving and I'm like, get the fuck out of my way. I gotta write this shit down. So like I really feel like a lot of road rage happens because when people need to journal, and it's like, I gotta fucking pull over or write this shit down. I don't know, I just think about that too. Anyways, so yeah, and I was like, whoa, you can really see it's like when people really admire people, it's because they're in their true essence. They're in their true essence of who they are and within themselves. And honestly, I feel like, and this is something else that's coming in, I feel like when people admire a lot of fake ass bitches, they're not in tune with who they are. You know what I mean? So it's like real recognize real. I really feel like that is a thing. I've been saying that since I was like fucking 17. Real recognize real. And I like look at somebody like The Rock. You know what I mean? I always use The Rock as an example because I love The Rock. But I was a fan of The Rock before he was Dwayne Johnson in Hollywood. I fucking love The Rock. He was like, when I was 13, I was like, I'm gonna marry The Rock. Like, I love The Rock. And that's why The Rock became such a huge star in WWE. Because he was an extension of his personality. He was an exaggeration of who he really is as Dwayne Johnson. So when I was growing up, I loved the Attitude Era of wrestling. I'm 33, so Jesus God, that was like 20 years ago. But it was so amazing. Oh, Jamie's watching. Jamie knows all about the Attitude Era of wrestling. So that was some of the best times in wrestling, and people would say because it was like the Monday Night Wars, whatever going on. If you're a wrestling fan, it was like WCW versus WWF. But no, I feel like it was the characters at that time. Like it was The Undertaker, who was a true extension of himself. It was Stone Cold Steve Austin. He was one of the biggest wrestlers ever. Even if you're looking at today, John Cena. Even John Cena's kind of like old, I guess now. But an extension of who he really is. These people recognize the value within themselves. They go deep into the core of who they are and they pull that out and they show it to the world. They show that to the world. And yes, Jerry the King Lawler, another one, and Randy Savage, they were true extensions of their personality. And it's something that you kind of only understand when you're a wrestling fan. And you can tell when wrestlers aren't true to themselves because they suck. They suck at cutting promos. Even their wrestling style sucks. And it has to do with what they're feeling in their body, too. Like Triple H, another one. True extension of who he is. I think that it's so important that we value our individuality instead of chasing what somebody else has. If you're constantly fucking chasing what somebody else has, you're literally running away from yourself. You are running away from yourself. You are not connecting with who you are. It's inauthentic and people can feel it. So there are these people that we look up to and we're like, oh my God, I really admire what that person does. But I think the mistake is that either it can be like a jealousy or just a misunderstanding of self, is that we don't connect with who we are in connection with them. So when you see someone that you really admire, you need to go into yourself and see what part of them is connected to your true being. It's not about trying to be like somebody else. And I see that all the time, especially within, I mean, it happens everywhere. It happens everywhere, but I see a lot in the spiritual community where people are like, oh, you know, Archangel Michael and whatever. Nothing against Archangel Michael, but I really feel like that's why people have a hard time with the spiritual community, is because there's so many people trying to put on this fucking facade of who they should be and what spiritual really is, instead of connecting to that essence of themselves, because the essence of you is that one piece of the divine that only you carry. I really believe that when you're your true self, it can't be repeated. Somebody can't steal that. They can try to copy it or become that, but they truly can't be you. Because I feel like we, as a collective, we're all connected, but we're all like the puzzle pieces that connect together and bring in the true essence of the divine. So when you're not being yourself, you're actually not fitting into that puzzle piece of the divine. And you're not doing a service to this planet. So I'm telling you right now, you know, if you're like, even if you're working in an office or whatever the hell is happening in your life, pull in that true essence of yourself. Maybe you need to be a leader in that sense. Maybe you need to be a mediator in your space. Maybe you need to jump up and be the fucking manager. Like maybe you're pulling yourself away from being a leader because you're afraid of that. There's so many different things that you can do to step into the true essence of yourself. And it doesn't mean that you need to go and quit your job and go and be that. I feel like in order to step into the true essence of yourself, you need to be that in the circumstances that are around you and surround you, and then it will bring you, it will literally open up the doors and the opportunities to where it is that you need to go, instead of forcefully. Oh my God, Beth, this is totally the feminine energy when you gave me the Akashic Records reading. This is what that is. It's just being in that, in the energy of you, instead of trying so hard. You know what I mean? And it's like, we can tell when people are trying so hard. And that's why I'm like, lately I'm like, I'm not going to force something. So if something's not coming out, I'm not going to fucking force it. You know what I mean? I'm just going to let it come. And there is like a thin line between like trying and forcing, because as humans, we need to work, we need to pay bills. And, you know, if you're somebody that's putting yourself out there, you kind of need to be consistent. But I feel like tapping into the true essence and then showing the world that is so important, as opposed to being like, oh my God, I see what that person is. Yes, you missed the wrestling references. I'll repeat them probably. But I don't know. That's something that like stuck in my head since like I was a kid. I was like, yo, nobody could ever be Stone Cold Steve Austin again. It could never happen. Nobody could ever be Madonna again, even though I can't stand her. Nobody could ever be Madonna again. There will be pop stars like Madonna, but nobody will ever be the Madonna again. And that also has to do with the time period that we were in. So I tell people the time period in the 90s was when the indigo energy really started flaring up on the planet. And that's why there were wrestlers that were popular, like Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock, because they were really in your face and they were breaking down the old paradigm of what was. So, my boyfriend's home right now. So, yeah, it's all about being you. It's all about, and like gathering that and feeling what that is and living within that and not trying to mimic somebody else. It's understanding what you like when you're connecting with somebody else or what you admire in somebody else, because if you admire something in somebody else, it is in you. So that's what I was journaling, or no, that's what I was thinking about on my ride home. I was like, wow, people don't understand the value in their identity. They're just constantly running away from it and thinking, it's almost like they're, let me try to get in that mindset, because now I'm really in the mindset of valuing my identity, but I feel like we all do it. And like we're always thinking of the lack of what we aren't instead of what we do have. You know what I mean? So, let me read some of these comments. I never really got into, but I loved seeing the archetypes of their essence and created how they navigated it. Yeah, it's like I said, it's something that people only understand when they're real wrestling fans, and that's what I feel like. I don't know. I can't even explain it when you're not a wrestling fan. Like, people are like, why do you watch that? And I'm like, I don't know, because it's like a whole bunch of like weird people that are really entertaining, that come up with these crazy stories, and they invoke this energy. And also too, it's live. Like, wrestling isn't like a pre-recorded thing. It isn't like that staged. Like, people think that wrestling is like super staged and, you know, everything in it is fake. And I've watched wrestlers because I tried to be a wrestler before. I didn't. I just like was training for like a month or two. But I've always been friends with wrestlers, like Steve did backyard wrestling. And Steve's the one I'm doing the podcast with. So when you watch them actually plan out their match, they don't plan everything. And it has a lot to do with the energy that they put behind it. And like when The Rock or like Stone Cold or even Hulk Hogan, he was another big one. A lot of people don't like Hulk Hogan anymore. I may not always be a Hulkamaniac, but I don't know. You know, sometimes people, I don't say he destroyed his legacy, but sometimes people give too much of themselves and then it becomes like that kind of thing. But it's the energy that they put behind it. It's the energy that they put within themselves. Boo, Hogan. Everywhere and everything around us just shows us what else we could be and think. Yeah. I mean, so I don't know. I ask you today, where's the true value in yourself? Where are you holding that within? Where are you not expressing that? Where are you holding back on that? Where are you trying to force that? Stop forcing things. I feel like you need to just let it flow. And sometimes I force things, and that's like more masculine energy. When you're forcing things, it's because you just want to get it done and you just want to get it out there. Sometimes though, when you force things, you're like, that didn't really work, so now let me connect with what I'm really connecting to. So, and I feel like this is the future of humanity. Like, this is the future of careers. This is where we are going. We are going to connect more on emotional level with business and entrepreneurship. I feel like in the future, like, people really want to get to know you to buy your product. People really want to connect with you to learn from you. That's what I tell people when I'm teaching them, or anybody in this field that I'm teaching, or just anybody anywhere, is that people want to connect to you. They want to know you. They want to know about you. They want to know what you do. So if there's no more hiding. If you're constantly hiding, you're not going to, and this is like if you want to do your own business or just anything in general, you're not going to succeed because there's so much going on and there's so many people grabbing other people's attention that you really need to put yourself out there. You need to be out there, but I feel like you need to be real. And humans are becoming more intuitive now when they can catch on to things. They can be like, I'm not really connecting to that person. I'm not really feeling them. And it's because they're not authentic. And like, look at all the things that are going on in the media. Like, people want authenticity, and sometimes even now it's kind of forced. It's like, oh, I'm going to be really authentic so people can connect to me, and you can tell the people that are kind of like forcing it, you know what I mean? And I think that we all kind of force it in a way sometimes because we're trying to find those real layers within ourselves. Like when I was rapping, I was doing a lot of forcing there. Like that wasn't full on Ashley. I mean, it was to an extent, but I feel like it was a piece of me, and it wasn't the full story of Ashley. And then over the past 5 years, you kind of seen the, let me pick a card for you and help you on your healing journey. And that was another aspect of Ashley. And even I was talking to my coach yesterday, and I'm like, rapper Ashley really wants to come out, but healing Ashley keeps getting in the way. And I was like, what do you think it is? And she was like, do you think they don't get along? And I was like, no, they don't. One is always trying to conquer the other. She was like, well, you need to make them get along. And then she made me, one of my assignments is that I have to write a rhyme and I have to record it and then give it to her. So, because I just need to be creating. I need to be making music. I need to be constantly in creation mode. Like that is who Ashley is. So, the true essence of you. My grandmother loved wrestling when she was here with us. Bless that woman. She used to get all fired up watching a match. Yeah, no, it's like when you're watching a good wrestling match, it is like, it's like a high. It's like so exciting, especially when you're there live. When you're, and that's so cool. And like I was talking to my friend Brian about it because he's a super big wrestling fan. A lot of you know Brian. And I was like, no, dude, I love doing live videos. Like, I don't want to do pre-recorded videos. I love being live, because he was asking me about the podcast and if it was going to be pre-recorded. And I was like, I don't know. For now, I just want to do it live. I love being live. I love the excitement of being live. I love the adrenaline rush of being live. I love that when I'm live, I'm probably going to fuck up and say something stupid. And then that actually makes me not become afraid anymore of going out there and expressing myself. If you see me when I'm recording a video, like literally, like some of those videos that are on YouTube, it'll take me like 3 hours to record like a half hour, 45-minute video, because I'm constantly like pausing or stopping or starting over. And with a live, I can't do that. And that's the same thing with wrestling. Like if you fuck up, that's it. You fucked up and people seen it and the show must go on. So that's what I feel like about life, is like, you know what? You're going to fuck up. People are going to see it and the show must go on. So where are you going to pull it? And the more that you're authentic with you, the less that you really give a fuck. You know what I mean? Because nobody can pull that away. So from this, and I am telling you right now, the Arcturian coaching and the Galactic ceremony are going up this week. I've been doing the write-ups for them. I'm actually waiting for Jess because we're going on the fucking beach. And I'm going to be a beach bitch today and just write on the beach as well. But there is another class that is coming out of this, because I was like, yo, people need to know about the labels in the side. This is for the people in like the spiritual community, or maybe you're not in the spiritual community and you feel connected to it. Are you a witch? Are you a starseed? Are you a light worker? Are you a shadow worker? There's so many shadow workers out there and you don't even know what that is. So I'm going to go over a lot of these labels in this class. I don't know what the name of it is going to be, but it's going to be something about labels. And you know me, I'm like, fuck the labels all the time. But I feel like this is a great way for people to get connected to the true essence. Like, what are you truly connecting with in the moment? And a lot of these can change, and you can be more than one at once. So we're going to go over these energies. I'm going to connect you to these energies, and you're going to see and feel what it is that you connect with. Or like, is it time for you to be a shadow worker? Is it time to project as a light worker? Are you more galactic? Are you a starseed? Are you a fucking witch where you should be connecting with nature and the earth? This is something that probably in August. Are you the magician? Are you that master manifester? Are you the high priestess? Should you be holding the ceremonies? Are you always holding the space for people? Do you have that matriarch energy where you always hold shit together? You could be the high priestess, or you could be the starseed high priestess, which I feel like that's what I fully connect with. So this is something that is coming in. Honestly, it kind of just dropped in yesterday along with a bunch of other stuff. So I will be posting about this later on this week too. So there's going to be 3 things that will be posted this week. Super excited. Today I ask you, where do you find the value within yourself? Where do you feel like you're valuable? With me, I feel the value within myself, and the true essence of myself is being so authentic that it will offend people, because I'm just that type of person. Like, I come in loud, I come in strong, I come in with courage, and I speak the truth, and I am here to empower people. So that is part of my true essence. So, thank you all for joining me today. I guess this is episode 7 of Ashley TV. I need to finish drinking my shake and pack for the beach. And I also gotta get my chair out, and I hope there's not spiders on it in the shed. I totally forgot about that. Alright, well, I will see y'all soon. Have a wonderful day, night, wherever you are, and blessed be.